without heartache. I would like to surround you, half awake. Are you in reverie? Will I believe 1,000 roses are gone between us now? I found you dressing in the clouds, and I am glad. I believe her now, without repent. You let your
doing great. Where are you coming to us from? What a lovely compound you got there, Lydia.
Oh, this is my place in Nashville.
Love it. Love it. Such elegance. I mean, I couldn't expect anything else from you. I mean, really. I love it. I love it, Lydia. Of course, you know, for my audience that doesn't know you, beloved, admired, respected musician Lydia Luce here. Look at you.
Hello.
Lovely to have you on the
like
show.
I see my name is in the background there.
In the backdrop. Yeah, absolutely. How are you, Lydia?
Fun. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to have you here. I mean, and of course, welcome back from the West Coast.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy the West Coast, Lydia? I know you went to school there. Is it like a third, like home base for you a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely feels like another home. I lived there for about 3 years. I went to UCLA there, and most of my best friends still live out there. So, and I think we're actually thinking about going back out there for the winter next year. So
Sounds
yeah,
like a
I love it.
smart idea. Yeah,
I
the winter was
know,
kind of
it's
long
so
this year.
cool.
It was a little
It
rough.
really, yeah, it really was. And I grew up in South Florida, so I'm like, I don't know how to do the winter.
Right, right. Do you remember that last snow here? Like that it was like a Friday and people were completely over it and people were like, really, dude? Really?
Yeah, yeah,
No. Anyway.
horrible.
And you know, I saw by the way that you were spending some time in California, but like in the desert, Lydia. Like I feel like
Yeah.
this video of some of like you posted some video of like wild animals, like just making some crazy noises and I mean, it looks
Yeah.
beautiful though. Tell us a little bit about this place. Like, what's the vibe there? Is it like a complete separation from society?
Yeah, I went out to Joshua Tree with a
Mm.
friend of mine for her birthday, and yeah, it was wild. We were kind of in this area where there was nothing else, like maybe a couple houses, but it felt very remote. And we were like, there was one morning we were just making breakfast and we saw three coyotes just walk in front of our window. And
Mm.
the video you saw was, it was like right before sunset. There was so many coyotes just howling.
It's
It was
crazy.
really creepy sounding, but I pulled out the binoculars I found and I could see them on the ridge and it was pretty epic.
Yeah, no, it looked amazing. And that's the appeal, right? Because, you know, you've always been in front of crowds and, you know, I've seen you like at Basement East and I've seen you at City Winery, all these packed places, so many people. And I don't know, it just feels like, you know, taking hikes, being creative with nature, you know,
Yeah.
connecting with friends, you know, that's the appeal, right?
Oh yeah, that's for me, that's like my recharge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
definitely need it.
Do you think that you could just live there, Lydia? I mean, like, because, you know, living this kind of lifestyle, you know, when you retire, right? Like, after you continue being creative success for many decades, that you could just kind of like go there and just kind of like with your musical legacy set and not see anyone anymore except like just your circle of friends.
No, I don't think so. I think I need people. I
Right.
feel like I'm such a I've found a balance now in my life. Like I'm in my 30s and like I want to say that I could just go off on a sailboat and live in isolation and be totally stoked. But I love people, and I feel like I'm recharged by like human interaction and even meeting new people, especially after the pandemic. Like I've
Yeah.
been finding this, like being out in LA, I met so many amazing new people, and I forgot how much a part of me that is, just, and like how much of me comes alive when I'm in those settings, like meeting new people, just hearing new stories. And
Mm.
so I need balance. I'm all for the isolation in nature aspect, but then I want to come back and see people.
Yeah, totally makes sense, Lydia. And I
Yeah.
felt like, by the way, I felt like I spent my first year in Nashville, like with you with that album Dark River. I mean, I loved
Mm,
it. I wanted to get in touch with you and kind of like tell you about it, but I figured like, hey, like one day I'll just fucking tell you. But it was so good, and I was just like, what a fighter! Like, what a resilient
mm,
soul! Lots of strength in that album. I know you've talked a lot about it, but damn, Lydia, like the way you take like adversity in that album and just like create beauty out of
mm.
it, like that's something that like we all can take out of it. It's a powerful album.
Thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was such weird times putting out a record during a pandemic, but I'm like so grateful that I had that to focus my energy on. Um, yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good for me.
Yeah, total. I mean, obviously, like you laid it out in the open, like this self-examination, embracing your garbage, if you will, right? And
Yeah.
but yeah, after that tough, whatever tough breakup and the tornado and all that stuff that you talk about, Lydia, what was one of the top patterns that you found that like basically you eliminated from your life, and that it's no longer part of this new evolved Lydia Luce version 2022?
Mm. I think one of the things I'm becoming more aware of, and I'm practicing more, is saying no to things and not doing things because I feel like it's expected of me, and not people pleasing as much. I still like have tendencies to do that, but I think like that was a part of me definitely pre-pandemic, and like just pre like self evaluation,
Yeah.
like that I I've just been working on, and I feel like I'm like, yeah, I don't need that anymore.
Oh, totally. Do you think, Lydia, that part of it is like, right now you're like an established like name, there's a standard of quality that people associate with you, but when you're starting as an independent musician, you kind of got to say yes to everything, because you never know, like especially in a
Mm.
town like Nashville, right? That like, whatever, you never know who's like the gatekeeper of what or whatever. You just say yes to everything. Do you think part of it was like that pivot, like making that pivot was hard for you as an artist?
Um, I think maybe a little bit at first, but now I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the right things will come to me, and I just have to trust my gut. Like if it doesn't
Mhm.
feel right, I'm not going to say yes to it just because somebody holds the cards.
Right.
Like, I have to have respect for myself, and that means like my mental health, my energy levels, my time. And so, yeah, I totally get that. And it definitely feels like when you live in a city where there's so many musicians, and definitely feels like, oh, maybe I should go do that, and maybe I should say yes to this. But I think we have to just like respect ourselves and, yeah, say no.
Love it. I love it. You're inspiring us. I love it. I love this, Lydia. And by the way, I thought of you a lot with the tornado scare and the tornado
Mm,
scare story and research, because we're both from South Florida,
yeah,
obviously, and hurricane season sucks. I mean, like Katrina and Wilma and all that is like seared into like my soul still, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But still nothing quite like a tornado, right? Like that's something that just like you had never experienced anything like that, right?
No, and yeah, I was there during Wilma, and like that was my 16th birthday. I remember like it was just a crazy experience. But
Yeah.
the thing about tornadoes is like there's no preparation. Like in South Florida, we could see it coming, like off in the ocean or in the Caribbean. We would see it kind of slowly coming towards us, and we had a choice to evacuate or stay or prepare.
Yeah. Go
And
to
with
Publix, freak
torn
out.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Publix, get all your Publix subs ready. And with tornadoes, it's just like it's here, it's happening like within we have like a tiny bit of preparation that we can do, but it's really
Wow.
like, especially the ones we have at night here, there's nothing really you can do. So it was very scary.
Yeah. And you were
Definitely
like,
scary.
for you, it was like a close call. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like a matter of like, how close were you to like the actual danger, Lydia?
So I was in my bed. I'd just come back from a show and I had just started falling asleep. And then there was like a loud noise and there was some sirens going off. And I can't remember if it was from my phone or if it was like the tornado warning sirens that we have.
Yeah.
But I looked on the tornado, the Nashville Severe Weather like Twitter account, and
Mhm.
he was going live, and he said, if you're thinking about going downstairs, stop thinking about it and go. And I'm on the second floor,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I need to go, like it's coming. And while I was running down the stairs, I went and knocked on my roommate's door, and it was so loud at that point, like it was coming over us at that point,
Wow.
and she couldn't even hear me knocking. And then finally she woke up and we both ran down the stairs. But while we were running down the stairs is when a piling came through the wall in my bedroom and went right over my bed and bounced off my bed and was sticking out of the ceiling. So it was very close, and like, and it's so weird because it happened so quickly. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, now it's done. And what happened? And we came out of the bathroom and we're like, okay, I guess, whatever, it's fine. And then you start going around the house and seeing the damage, and then it really starts hitting. And
Mm.
it was very emotionally, it was just disturbing.
Yeah.
It was really disturbing.
Totally. And I think that's why you're always smiling now, and like you're always like floating around Nashville, and like you're always like, fulfilled and like living with passion. I feel like you don't
Yeah.
take anything for granted, Lydia. And you can see that in like the Vow video, for example, because we have to talk about
Mm.
that. Like, oh my God, where do we even begin with that? I mean, first of all, it's like the world's most beautiful like travel channel like commercial. Like, I don't know, like let's start there. It is visually like, it's like it should be in the Guggenheim. It's absolutely stunning.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, tell us like, how did it come about, Lydia? Obviously the song is really beautiful, but just
Thank
like you must
you.
be super proud of it, right?
I am so proud of it. And it was filmed in South Florida,
Where did you
as
film it?
we
This is
we
like a
filmed
reference that
it.
we'll get, but I don't care. I
I
want to.
know. It was just out of the port, like off Fort Lauderdale. Like if
Okay.
you kind of, I think it was North Hallandale Beach, like off that shore. My dad has a boat.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it was really special because I obviously got to go home. I flew two of my friends home with me. They're a couple, and he's an amazing videographer. She's an amazing photographer, like stylist, just like visually, just really, really amazing. Their names are Jason Reed Denton and Allie Shields.
Mm.
And so I got to bring them home, which was really special. And then my dad got to take us out on the boat and be the boat captain, and like he was a big part of the video. Like we couldn't have done that without him. And like we'd be like, can you go this way and turn back this way? Like the wind's facing this way. We need this shot. And he was just like, yeah, let's do it. I'm down. And the video, like the idea for it kind of came about, like we were brainstorming, and the EP's called Garden Songs. And
Mm.
this one was particularly a nature driven EP. I wrote it in this beautiful place on Orcas Island off of Washington. And so I wanted it to be like visually just rich in nature. And the song is about getting married and like the fear and excitement that comes with it. And so like just the element of water and diving in, and yeah, like it's beautiful, it's scary, there are waves,
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
it's both and embracing both of those things, just in making space for both and being honest with ourselves about both. And yeah, it was so fun to make. I'm a scuba diver and a snorkeler, and so swimming for hours was like the best.
Of course, you must miss that a little bit being here for sure.
So much. I miss
Right.
it so
Yeah.
much.
I
Yeah.
know. I know. Yeah, the water thing is like sometimes you get it, like that like you miss the water being from Florida here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but then I'll go see you at the Basement East or something, and that's my hair. It's like, okay, I can live with this. It's like that's my water.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Lydia, you're being so good with your time. Thank you. I can't let you go without asking you about Lockeland Strings
Yeah.
because I mean you're creating something really really special here. Why don't you tell us a little bit like what it is, like just like from like an overview perspective? I've seen you guys twice, loved it, loved it, loved it. But
Thank
like,
you.
and it's your baby, it's your project.
Yeah. Well, it started in my living room here. This was the original Lockeland String shows, and then it got so big that I was like, no, I don't want 90 people in my living room anymore. And so we started doing it in different venues around town, which has just been so fun because it's this experience of like experiencing new spaces, hearing what strings sound like in new spaces, and then bringing in different parts of the community because now we're doing them and not just East Nashville, we'll do them, all over. Like you came to the City Winery one, we're doing one at Third Man Records this weekend. And yeah, it just kind of grew from being this kind of, I mean, it was always I guess smaller scale but it still feels such an intimate experience and
Yeah.
the artists are backed by string quintet and then each show we have an original composition by a local composer. Not doesn't have to be local. And really there are no rules. Like I'm always down to like try new instrumentation, try doesn't have to be strings. And then each month we donate to a different local nonprofit. And so a portion of the proceeds goes to them. And then they also usually will come to the show and get to speak to the community about what they're doing. So this weekend we have the East Nashville Hope Exchange nonprofit, which are based in East Nashville, and they'll be there to explain what they're doing in the community. A lot of literacy work with youth and helping kids kind of get through that summer gap in learning and walk them through like the books that they should be reading and helping them along the way. So yeah, it's just become this big community of people in Nashville, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. I'm a big fan.
100%. And the city, like I feel like the crowds, like they're just getting bigger and bigger, and it's a thing,
Yeah,
Lydia. So congratulations. That is something really beautiful you're doing there. And just thank you for
thanks.
your time, Lydia. This was way overdue. You're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be on tour a little bit this summer, so people can check
Mhm.
out the dates at lydialuce.com. And yeah, check out everything about Lydia. Yellow Dawn, the video, the whole thing we talked about. You are awesome. So thank you so much, Lydia.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
See you
Take care.
later.
Bye.
Bye.